Well, looking back, good Saturday, great Saturday to play our last home game in great weather and send the seniors out the right way, and a lot of guys played well, and it was a good day. And now we're set up for why we come here, try to play for a Pac-12 North championship and see where that goes.
You've got some great seniors. What's Miles meant to this program and this university?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll have to look back on that. I just know this, that, since the second he got here, he's been the same in such a good way. I know he's been one of the guys that's kind of shaped and changed the culture in terms of kind of how we want to do things. And, he's a superstar player and doesn't have that mentality with his teammates and in the locker room and all those type of things. And he just practices good. He's always the same. He's consistent. And he always plays the same too. He's he's a rare player, rare person.
How much has Wazoo's offense changed at all from what you've seen?
Not a bunch. There's a couple little tweaks from what we can tell, but Coach Lee, they do what they do, and they do it well. And I think I think on offense, I think their O-line is obviously pass protected as well as anybody around. You don't throw the ball that much and give up that few sacks. Right there you can look at that, and it says a lot. That coupled with Minshew in terms of his pocket poise, presence, he's got a great feel. You're coming after him, ball's out. You're not coming after him, he's going to stand in there. You get to him, he's going to get out of the pocket. Really decisive. The combination of those two things is really what's kind of made it maybe a little bit different.
How much of a challenge is it attacking his offense or defending his offense, and how different is it from other offenses?
Well, it's different. It's different for sure, but it always comes down to players. There's a lot of good styles of offense, and if you got the players to complement it, they're going to bring it to life. And like I said, that O-line always starts there. Doesn't matter the style of your offense. And that's really an amazing stat, how few sacks that they've given up for how much they throw it. They're one of the better teams in the country of not giving up sacks, and they throw it the most. So, right there, that tells you a lot. I'm playing with a lot of confidence and all those things.
Had as much success defensively against them these last 4 years as anybody. But do you see one or two keys in those games, or a consistent theme for why you guys were able to have success?
Not really. Yeah. And if I knew, I probably wouldn't say, but I really don't. Guys played hard.
Chris Minshew, is there any comparisons with him with Luke Falk or some of the other guys that you've seen run that offense?
I think they're different. I think he's different. Luke was there for so long, so it was always him, but it's definitely different. He's more mobile. That's always something. He's just really decisive with the ball. He knows where it's going, and he doesn't mess around. The running backs caught 70 passes. One of the running backs. Over the two, they've caught over 100 passes. So he gets it out there, and he creates. It's all about space, creating space. That's what he does. Create space. Space in the flat. That's where the ball's going. Now try to tackle these shifty guys that are hard to tackle. Space downfield, he'll find it. You rush three guys, he's going to find the space and throw it in there. And so it's always a kind of a cat-mouse game.
I think early in that game against Arizona, this last one, I think he had thrown the ball to 10 or 11 different receivers. When they can throw waves of different guys at a defense, what does that do to them psychologically?
Well, I think what he's doing is just going through his progression. We always talk about that with our guys. It doesn't, when our quarterbacks are right, it doesn't matter who he's going to. It should be spread around. Defenses are going to continually change the picture and give you different looks, and you got to go where the coverage takes you or the blitz takes you. And I think that's what he does. That's why the ball goes to so many different guys.
The 10 or 11. That feels pretty unique, isn't it?
Well, it's unique because who plays 10 or 11 receivers? Not us. I guess Wazoo, Yeah.
You and Mike Leach probably know each other about as well, if anyone can know Mike Leach as well. as anybody being in the same state here, but is there a way to overthink things when you come to a game like this or a rivalry game like this, knowing the opponent that well?
Yeah, I don't think we'll overthink it. You know, it's just you just prepare for what you know from the past, what you see on tape, and then you got to adjust on the run. You know, the kids got to go play. They got to make plays, and these are good players that we're going against. And, you know, they're going to get yards. They'll get points. I mean, they're really good, and we just got to keep battling and reload and, you know, slow them down a little bit.
Browning said some of this game will come down to which team handles this quick turnaround the best. Is that something that you would agree with?
It doesn't really, like now we're right on a normal schedule. It's just the last 2 days, you know, right after our game yesterday, we just practiced on our Tuesday practice. So now we're right back on schedule. And we have some more stuff to, you know, get done today and tonight before we go practice, from a coaching standpoint wise. You know, we've been planning for this for a while. It doesn't feel too bad. So, you know, we'll see. I think if you're playing 2 days short, you play a Saturday to Thursday, those are hard. Saturday to Friday are kind of hard, especially late in the season a little bit, you know, with the guys, but they'll be fine.
I mean, you've done this a lot of different years with the Thanksgiving game as well, or Thanksgiving Day as well. Does that put a crimp in things or change anything?
Just like those first couple days. I mean, that can a little bit. But once you get to that first practice, you know, you got to have your rundown, you know, however we organize what's going in those days. They got to be done, and you're not going backwards. You got to then get on to the next part of your game plan. So, you know, we've been well aware of that and kind of on top of it.
Does it also feel a little weird that you're as healthy maybe as you've been all year? In terms of guys coming back?
Yeah, it's cyclical. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that way. You know, I think there's still some guys that are like playing their way. You know, it's one thing to be healthier, and it's another thing for guys to like, we are in a good groove and really, really healthy, and, you know, guys that play. We still got some guys that, you know, those guys that got their feet wet the last game that are still, game reps are different than practice reps. So, but it's good. I mean, moving forward, and it's good to be in that situation.
So much talk about this offense, but what do you see on tape from their defense?
Yeah. They really have kind of, you know, new coordinator, but really kind of picked up where they've left off. That's what's really unique about Washington State is they are different on both sides of the ball. It's not just the air raid offense or, you know, this unique different defense. You know, it's a stemming, moving, penetrating type defense that is different than a lot of them in our conference. And so you got these two distinct different styles, which is really, you know, pretty smart. And so they were doing that in the past. Even though new coordinators picked up where they left off and put his little spin on it, it is different than it was last year. And they've, you know, I think they've even improved.
If somebody were to come in from out of town who did not know anything about this rivalry, how would you describe the Apple Cup rivalry?
Yeah, you could probably, I'd defer to you. I mean, it's, you know, I always say this. I mean, it's your, you know, it's your typical big rivalry. And, you know, I think anybody wears purple in that town, you know, the bristles start to stand up. What are these people doing here? And when you live in a big city, everybody gets away with wearing red around here. And I'm kind of trying to figure out why. I mean, why wouldn't we kind of bristle up? We see those Cougar flags around here. I don't like it, but I guess it's a double standard.
How special is it for you have 21 players on your roster from the state of Washington.
Yeah.
That they have this chance to play in a game like this. How special is it?
Well, and then you couple that with the guys in their roster, they're from Washington, and so everybody kind of knows everybody, and they're good players. I mean, they're guys that, you know, both sides are looked at, and it's kind of interesting where they end up. But you couple that with the families and the histories and all that, makes it kind of special.
For the fans out there that want to say, well, look at the way the last 4 years have gone, so it'll be more the same. Obviously, you're not thinking that way at all, but does 1 year have anything at all to do with the next and one result? And for the fans that want to think that, operate like that? Yeah,
I think you just look at what's happening around our league and at every program in there, and I think that says it all. I mean, it's very, very different year to year in college football. Yeah.
Cup, have you had a chance to cross paths with Mike Leach at meetings or social things? And have you talked about more than the weather or the latest NCAA?
I didn't. The last time I saw him, I didn't really get a great chance to talk to him because he was a half hour late to our head coach's meeting, and we were all looking at our watches going, this might not turn out good for him. And sure, he walks in with his In-N-Out burger and milkshake, and we're all like, really? Waiting for somebody to say something, and he's just happy and clamming away, and we're like, why didn't we do that? It's really the last time I saw him.
Did you chat with him and say?
No, I tried to, but he had his mouth full, and so I just kind of moved on. I don't think that's going to help him from what I hear. Yeah.
He was asking your day who would win a brawl between Pac-12 coaches.
Oh, yeah. I have not.
Yeah.
Kyle's kind of yoked. I probably wouldn't dispute that. Yeah.
In terms of Leach, as all the things that have happened, especially given some of the dramas over there, why does he manage to preserve and prevail in?
That's a great question. I think one thing is he just really believes in what he does, his style, his way. I mean, I think that's the one thing that I can tell from afar. I've obviously never worked with him, competed against him, know some guys that coached with him, and he just does his way. And I think there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, obviously, and he just believes in his way, and I think he's a really smart guy, and he sticks to the script, and he can weather the storm, and he doesn't let all the outside stuff really get to him, and he just perseveres and comes through it. And I mean, I mentioned this the other day after the game. You know, they've been through a lot, certainly with Tyler. But just, coaches, turnovers, and just a lot of different stuff over there. And, they got a special team over there. And we all know how hard this business is, and a lot of respect for that.
What do you remember about when you first heard about what happened to Tyler?
Yeah. I'm trying to think when I first, I think like everybody is like, it's one of the more shocking things I've ever heard. The guy that's going to be the starting quarterback, it's like, how could this be teed up for him any better? And then I think you catch your breath and you start to worry about the guys in your room and going, man, if this can happen to somebody that's got a situation like this, we got to pay closer attention. And we've had numerous talks since then about depression, anxiety, all these things that are going on. Numerous, and because of that situation. And I think we're much more aware of it. If one of our guys is struggling, everybody's antennas are up. Like, in the past, we'd kind of like, you'll be fine. And, just not putting probably the sense of importance on it that something like that could be.
In his execution of the spread offense, obviously it's different with each coach, but it's always been said that the spread is a great equalizer for schools who aren't going to recruit 4-star and 5-star guys.
Yeah.
You can even the playing field. Is there more to it than that?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of precision to this offense. I think there's a lot more. I think the really, good coaches, the really, special systems and styles always look very simple. Like, I think that's one of the offenses you put on and everybody goes, we run that play. We do that. But yet they do it at such a high level, and I think how he keeps it simple for his guys. But there's a lot of detail and sophistication to get there, where from the outside, if you're trying to run that system or put those plays on, it's like, well, how come this isn't all coming together? We've all been there. So I think, that's part of his beauty. He knows how to keep it simple. He doesn't have a ton of plays. He doesn't come up year to year. It looks the same with maybe a couple little tweaks. There might be a new route in there that we haven't seen. And I think if he does that, he takes a route out because he's not going to overload his kids. He is as sharp as they come when it comes to football.
He seems to train his quarterbacks to make those kinds of decisions without consulting the sideline. And, I mean, is there anything about that that appeals to you?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think the simplicity, you know, I think the whole thing appeals to me in terms of like the simplicity from the outside, but I also know the sophistication, time and hours it's taken to make it look like that. And for the quarterback to be out there, to be able to like see what he sees, he's trained him that way. There's not many college, you know, programs and stuff that are doing it like that, and I don't think any like he does it.
Since September?
Yeah, I think we have improved. I think it's been sporadic. You know, I think it's been a couple steps forward, a step backwards, where you'd like to kind of get a little bit more on a roll. And, you know, I think that's maybe been the thing that's been a little bit frustrating. I think our defense has played at a pretty high level, and I think on special teams we've done some good things, but we've been up and down. And I think on offense, we get on a roll, we do some beautiful things, and then at times we make it harder on ourselves than we need to. But I think there has been improvement. I do. I think our kickoff team took a big step, not just with it, you know, Eddie in there, but with a couple different guys. And so I think that was good. And but it's, you know, the real trick and the real magic in it is when there's not a bunch of steps backwards, certainly late in the season.
There's shortage of incentive, obviously, in this game, but how juiced does your defense get when you go in against the nation's leading passer, though?
Yeah, it's, well, you know, they know what's coming, but it's kind of interesting because it's like when you think about getting juiced and ready to go and, you know, physical and all that, well, then they go and spread you out and throw it 39 times in one half. So it's more like locked in, you know, really focused on your job more than, okay, they're going to run power at you, you know, 18 times in the first half and super physical. You know, it's a different style. But I think our guys certainly are knowing the big challenge that we have coming.
So I was curious, you mentioned how in you know, watching the game, like the Oregon State-Stanford game, for instance, how you were able to watch the whole game, the TV feed and stuff. I was always curious when you have a game with such a blowout in the first half with the Arizona Wazoo game, and it's, you know, 55 points in the first half. Does it still even matter what the defense is doing if you're really locked in on trying to defend the offense or vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where it comes down to when we watch the, you know, the coaches' edits of the game. You're just watching scheme, what they're doing. Yeah, and so that's like, you know, that's the secret sauce to any game. Like, how is this happening? Like, what's the emotion of the game? You know, you put on the past Apple Cups that we played, you know, you watch the tape and you're like, yeah, this is okay or whatever, but then you forget about all the emotion that comes with it, you know, that brings plays alive one way or another, or the momentum, like, you know, whether a guy hits a big pass or a run or, you know, good play on defense, like, that changes the next play as well. And so that's why it's kind of interesting to watch a whole game, a TV copy, or watch it on TV, because it, you know, there's, you know, they bring the plays to life with emotion and energy.
People usually talk about getting injured players back to game shape. When you have guys like Trey or DJ who really haven't played in a while, what goes on that Sunday or Monday really making sure that they're sustaining their health? Well,
it's, you know, we're in our routine like we always are. I mean, we lift and we run and you know, then there's a day off and we go back to practice. It's just about getting more reps. You know, those guys, we don't have to, a little bit different focus because we don't have to worry about, are they too worn down or anything like that, but you can worry about bringing them back too fast and spike them and they're taking too many reps and then you kind of break them down right away. A guy gets injured, pulls something because there is a build-up phase to it. And so we pay attention to that as well.
What did you make of Trey's game Saturday?
I asked him after, I said, how was it? He's like, awesome. That's what he said. And so it was good. I mean, he's not where he has been, but it was great to get him out there and get some great game reps.
How much of a step has Hunter taken in the last, just week by week?
Yeah, and same thing. I mean, when we brought him back, he was looking like he had his legs back under him and could run like he normally had been. And in the game, I think he's playing at a pretty good clip, and just a matter of getting him more plays and more involved.
Joe Tryon is a guy who seems like he's gotten more and more workload the second half of the season. What have you seen out of his progress?
Yeah, young freshman. That's what he needs is game reps, see different things. That's what I think about Joe. He's got a really big upside. He just needs to see more things. You'll see him one time, miss the play, and then he'll have something similar, and he'll make the play. But he's got the physical stature you want. He's got a good mental makeup. Young guy that's just learning, and I'm really, we're excited to watch his progression.
Was there something about him specifically in the week build-up that wanted you to say, okay, you're going to get the start today?
No, and in fact, I didn't even know he did start. I mean, that's how close I pay attention to that stuff. I think Coach K and whatever the assistant coaches, they're always rotating guys, and certain guys look better in practice and are deserving, and then make plays in the game. They rotate and shuffle guys around. I just know Joe's been coming on slowly but surely, and I honestly mean that. I didn't even know the starters don't even. We play a lot of guys, and who's the first guy out there doesn't mean. It's usually, who's making plays and who gets the most reps. That kind of means something to me.
What about
Yeah. I think he's another guy with a big upside. Got to get him bigger. He's got some good twitchy, quick twitch to him. It can be, explosive type player, but we get him bigger and he can kind of do it all. And, we got some pretty good players there that kind of rotate in with Joe and Ryan and Benny. They kind of all are in there depending on the package. And so, Coach K does a pretty good job of rotating those guys around.
What's been your take on the pass rush this year?
Yeah. We're getting to guys. We're not sacking them a bunch. We got a few more last week we hadn't got. But we're getting close. We do move guys off the spot. I think that's one of the things on defense. It's not very complicated what everybody's trying to get done. One of the things you're trying to do is get sacks. We know that's a game-changing thing, and we haven't got the sacks that we have wanted to, and we're trying different creative ways to get that done. This will be our biggest challenge this week in that department. So.
Minshew's impact, have your thoughts changed at all about the value and virtue of the senior transfer?
I think that's a really interesting question, but it's a lot harder for us to get transfers. That's my problem with this whole thing. It's not all the same. It's in terms of, and I have no idea about his situation, but I just know we haven't got one in here yet, and so it's really hard to get that done. In other places, it's not. Getting them into school, when they have to apply, grade points, all those type of things, it's different. And so,
Meaning the standards are different.
it's just at certain places there are, and we would love to. We've been involved with a couple, and it wasn't going to happen. We're past the deadline, and it's just how they're doing it here is different. And so if everybody's on the same page, and the guy's going to come play football, because let's be real, that's what everybody's doing. They're not going there to get a degree. They're going there to play football. Let's just all be on the same page, and then it's all good. But I'm happy for the guy. I really am, to be able to, wasn't working out where he was, and he's having this unbelievable experience. I think that's great, but, I think you're going to see more and more of it, but we're not seeing it here.
Do you feel like grad transfers, there should be kind of a standard?
I like standard for everything, right? Should we not all be playing on the same, that's, I think one of the beauties of the NFL is like everybody's on the same page, and everybody's schedule's the same. Everybody has the same conference schedules. Everybody's, so.
Have you lobbied for that change?
We've had some discussions, but,
With whom? Just within the university, or?
Yeah, we have our, I coach football here, I'm not running the university, so we're making, and so they got their standards. No, you know how that goes. I think there has been some conference discussions, to tell you the truth, I think with some of the academic people. But I don't know how far that's gone, but I do think there have been some conversations.
So maybe like a school like Stanford or USC or UCLA might be behind the same kind of situation.
I would think there'd be a few schools that would, Yeah. I mean, right, everybody's selfish in this deal. Like if it's, hey, if they can't have them and we can, I don't care if I don't really want them to change the rule. And we have a hard time, we want them. Stanford wanted to change, whatever. I mean, this is, you just want to make it fair for everybody.
Have you decided to take an initiative on this to try to see if you can get some?
It's been a discussion. I mean, there's a lot of things in college football that, kind of fit this mold a little bit. So
Thursday as far as Thanksgiving dinner.
Practice, come up here, eat quick turkey, get on a plane, and go to Pullman. That's how we do it.
Favorite side dish for Thanksgiving?
Favorites? No, I don't. My big thing is what I'd really like to do is just like have a potluck of everybody brings their favorite food. Some people are really into turkey. That's fine. That should be there. But I'm saying like tacos and some pizza and Italian food. And I think it'd be awesome, right? I mean, it's just everybody just eats till they can't even move. So let's just bring what we really, really want. I think that would be awesome.
When's the last time you actually had a traditional Thanksgiving meal?
A little bit easier when you're at home. We play this game at home because we can practice and kind of go and then come, do that kind of stuff. But we play away. We have it here. We'll have some turkey here before we get on the plane. And tacos.
You practice, you eat, and you fly.
Yep.
You talk so fast, I didn't get this.
Yes.
He's got tacos.
I just heard tacos, and I was distracted.
Yeah.